Hi there, Smart Drivers. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you tonight about road rules and how to learn road rules and how road rules are going to keep you safe. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We already have some people on asking questions here, and that's really great to see people here. If you're new to Smart Drive Test and just tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from in the world, and that way we can have a sense of who's here and what we need to talk about, whether we need to talk about people who are getting their CDL license for driving a truck or bus, or whether you're in other parts of the world where they drive on the left side of the road. And Robaz was talking about coaster lights are fog lights, I'm guessing. Oh, okay, so coaster lights, Robaz are your fog lights. Did you end up getting a ticket for that? We were just talking about, Robaz was asking you, he got pulled over for the first time by a police officer, so just asking what kind of lights were on the vehicle that the police officer pulled him over for. So interesting question there. Colin is here, Sass is here, and again, if you're just tuning in, be sure to let us know where you are in the world. So we're getting going here. Corey's here. Thanks, Corey, for letting me know that the audio and video is good. Corey Bricks for Wheels, you can see in blue there, is the moderator, and he's kind of my Alfred to Batman. I guess this is the way it was explained this afternoon, is I'm the superhero. So Colin's here, 380's here. Vehicles with constantly running lights as required in Ontario that are so bright many drive with them at night, forgetting that they're not actually. Yes, that is true, 380, that daylight running lights are required in Canada, and a lot of people do, in fact, drive with them on and forget to actually turn on their headlights. There are some vehicles that have reminders that you don't have your lights on, and actually it's a lot better now that some of the vehicles actually just have an auto setting so that as soon as the lights dim, the lights will turn on automatically on the vehicle. So that's a lot easier. So Clockwork's here from Toronto. Unofficial's here. Any advice on having trouble with speed management on hills? Yes, we can talk about that a little bit more. Make sure you talk about that. Dalton's here from Pennsylvania. Robaz, it was the first mistake I ever made and got pulled over even though I corrected myself long before the officer pulled me over. Luckily there was no ticket, mainly because my dad gave him hell. Well, Robaz, sometimes with police officers that's not your best course of action, is to give somebody hell. The other thing with police officers is do not deny what you did or what they're claiming that you did, the infraction, because that also tends to upset them as well. So generally it's yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and that'll tend to get you out of trouble, but fortunately you didn't get a ticket. Jaden's here. Ran over the bad guys with the Warthog battle vehicle. I'm not doing that in real life anytime soon. Jaden's playing video games there. Mary Lou is tuning in from Texas. Hello from Texas. That's great. And we're definitely, Mary Lou, we can definitely help you with that. Failing your road test 3 times. Mary Lou, I have a course over at the Smart Drive Test website. It's an online, self-paced course. Pass your road test first time guaranteed. So if you take the course now and you don't pass next time, I'll give you your money back. And not only will I give you your money back, the course is fully guaranteed within 60 days. And if you're unsuccessful, I will do everything in my power to help you to pass that course. So check that out over there, and Corey will put the link up for you there as well. Dalton, studying for your CDL. Which class of license are you going for, Dalton? Are you going for a tractor-trailer license? How do you keep failing? Okay, Clockworks, not Cat. Vinny. Watching from Windsor, Ontario. Yes, hello from Windsor. Mary Lou, I can't unlearn wide-angle turns. Now, what do you mean, Mary Lou, when you're saying wide-angle turns? And this is the last question I'll answer, and then I'll slip over to the PowerPoint presentation, and I'll talk about that. One of the things, Mary Lou, that I'm going to counsel you on is to, Corey rather, will get you the video on learn to drive and go and work in a parking lot with pylons, and that will help you out. So, Dalton, you're going for your tractor-trailer license. Really great. We can answer any questions about that as well. I can help you out with that. And Clockworks took the course. It is worth it. There you go. Clockwork 0. Thank you so much, Clockwork, for that endorsement on the course. It's a really good course, and it's well worth the price it's worth. And as well, for those of you who are on the live stream here, if you type in YouTube 30 into the coupon box, you'll get a 30% discount on the course as well. Side Penny from USA. Penny, hello. McAlto, dude, I'm worried about my road test because I hear they are failing people because they get the extra revenue which they need. No, that's simply not true. There are some factors that influence in that, and ask me that afterwards about failing road tests, but examiners for the most part are not going to fail you. I will talk about some situations that there is a possibility they'll fail you, but for the most part they're not going to. All right, so I'm just going to leave this now. I'm going to go over to the PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to go through that. I'm going to talk about road rules, and then I'll come back and I'll catch up on your questions. So if I didn't get to your question, it's not because I'm ignoring you. There's a lot of people on the live stream right now, and I'll get back to your question, and I'll do my best to get your answers. And if I don't get to your question, send me an email, rick@smartdrivetest.com, and I'll be more than happy to help you out with that, answering your questions. Okay, so I'm pulling the wrong one here. So just bear with me while I get over to the PowerPoint presentation here. There we go. Okay. Transition so everybody can see me. Just make me a little bit smaller. Bear with me here. There we go. All right, so rules of the road. This is what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about regulatory signs. We're going to be talking about the different kinds of signs, because people who are having challenges learning road rules for the purposes of passing a road test, for people who are trying to remain crash-free. Interestingly enough, a lot of people see road signs, but they don't read road signs. They do not consciously take in the information that is presented to them on the road signs, and there is a enormous amount of information on road signs that will help you to learn the rules of the road and also to help you stay crash free. And for those of you who are going for CDL licenses and driving larger vehicles, RVs, U-Hauls, those types of things, it becomes paramount that you read those road signs to stay safe on the roadway. So you need to read those, and I'm going to go over just, this is a very high level rules of the road tonight. I don't have a lot of time to go into this. I just want to spend 10 or 15 minutes talking about rules of the road. And again, look at the courses over at the Smart Drive Test website. All of those will help you out. And again, if you're just tuning into the live stream here, be sure to let us know where you're from in the world. So I'm Rick August. I do have a PhD in legal history. For those of you who don't know, legal history is the study of courts, policing, and prisons. And my expertise is in policing as it relates to traffic, and how traffic, a 500% increase in road speeds at the beginning of the 20th century changed policing and laws in response to that increased road speeds. And most of the infrastructure that was developed around the evolution of the motor car in the first 3 decades of the 20th century is much of what we still see today in terms of road rules. I mean, increased police powers with on-the-spot tickets and those types of things, still very much in place in terms of policing. So I was a truck driver during the 1990s and into the early 2000s. I moved to Australia in 2002, where I went to university at the University of Melbourne. I drove Greyhound for a year while I was there, and then a couple years after that I drove for V-Line, which is a regional bus line as well. So I have experience in both driving trucks, and I have experience as a bus driver as well, driving coaches. I don't have any experience driving transit, but I have done consulting work in transit authorities, and I've worked on legal cases that involve transit buses as well. And I became a licensed driving instructor in 1997. And have been a licensed driving instructor ever since. And I'm a licensed driving instructor here in the province of British Columbia. And I teach GLP, the graduated licensing program. Plus, I also teach buses and trucks class 1 to 4 here in British Columbia, which can be the letter system in other places or different names, but it's essentially trucks and buses. So that's essentially who I am in a nutshell. For those of you going for a CDL license, be sure to head over to the Smart Drive Test website or the Facebook page and sign up for the webinar that we have on the 23rd of October. That's this coming Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to do a presentation on air brakes, what you need to do to be successful on passing your CDL air brakes, what air brakes are. I'm going to explain it simply so that you understand it. I'm going to make a comparison between the car that you already drive with brakes on it and air brakes on large commercial vehicles, so you don't end up being this guy driving through a brick wall. I'm going to talk about downhill braking and give you specific step-by-step instructions for getting a large vehicle downhill safely. And then I'm going to talk to you specifically about the rules, or not the rules, rather the specific questions, the CDL questions that you're going to be asked on the theory test to be successful on your CDL test, and that is inclusive of both Canada and the United States. All right, so one of the videos that you need to be looking at, and Corey will put this up in the comments for you, is rules of the road right of way. It's basically an overview, and I'm at different intersections in and around Vernon here, and I give you rules of the road. Okay, so if you've been successful on a road test in the last couple of weeks here, head over to the Smart Drive Test website and sign up for the 100K campaign, and Corey will put that link up for you as well. We're working towards helping 100,000 drivers earn their license in the next year in North America. The campaign's getting off to kind of a slow start, but we're going to put some energies and some momentum into this, and we're going to really get going on helping 100,000 people in the next year earn their license. As well, everybody who enters into or registers with the 100,000K campaign will go into a contest, and they'll be eligible for a $100 gas card that we're going to draw for every month. So that's over at the Smart Drive Test website. So, rules of the road. And this is one of the difficult parts for both new drivers and veteran drivers alike. You need to know that road users are going to break road rules. One of the things that I wrote in the beginning of my PhD dissertation was, you show me a road rule and I'll show you somebody who's going to break that road rule. It always happens. We also have a culture of driving, and depending on where you are in the world, there's people are going to drive differently according to a culture. For example, some places are going to have drivers that are going to do a lot of U-turns. That's part of their driving culture. Here where I live in British Columbia, we don't do a lot of U-turns, whereas other places in the world, they're going to be doing U-turns all the time. That's part of their driving culture. The UK, Australia, for example, have a lot of roundabouts. Roundabouts are part of their driving culture, whereas here in North America, we're just beginning to introduce roundabouts, and it is a little bit strange for us because we're not used to roundabouts, and because they're not part of our driving culture. So road rules are going to be broken, and also know that you can curse people for not following the rules of the roadway, but know that road rules no more prevent traffic crashes than criminal law prevents crime. So therefore, know that yes, you can follow the rules, but it's not a guarantee that it's going to keep you safe. So you need to put in strategies, techniques, and abilities that are going to keep you safe. And one of those excuse me, fundamental components of defensive driving that I say again and again is space management. If you're not near anything on the roadway, it's less likely that you're going to hit something. So, overview of general rules of the roadway. Straight through traffic has the right of way over turning traffic. Pedestrian traffic generally here in North America has the right of way over vehicular traffic. And I know that a lot of you will have the hair on the back of your neck kind of raising up going, oh my God, pedestrians. They just step out in front of you and those types of things. I will say to people who are pedestrian traffic and you are aggressive in terms of thinking that you're invincible when you step out in front of a car and the car has to come to a stop, 25% of traffic fatalities, around the 25% mark of traffic fatalities every year in any country is pedestrian traffic. So know that you are a vulnerable road user as a pedestrian. So you might rethink thinking that you're invincible and that cars are going to stop for you on roadways, knowing that 1/4 of traffic fatalities are pedestrians. There's nothing to protect you if you get hit by a car, and in every case you are going to lose. So think about that when you're a pedestrian. Right turning traffic has the right of way over left turning traffic. Most of the time, right turning traffic has to give the right of way to other road users and anybody proceeding straight through. So you just come to a stop, make sure the way is clear, give the right of way to all of the road users, and then proceed. Left turning vehicles, sometimes you're going to be at advanced lights and you'll have the right of way, but otherwise you have to give way to oncoming traffic and proceed when the way is clear. The other sort of difficulty of turning left is that you got to give way to pedestrians that are crossing on the cross street. And then you have right of way and rules of the road for controlled and uncontrolled intersections, and this is going to make it more difficult as well. So, as I said in the introduction and that I went over with road signs, is that road signs communicate a lot of different information. And Corey will put up the video for you on road sign classifications, and there's a classification to road signs. There's regulatory signs, which are essentially speed signs and any other sign that you must obey. There's cautionary signs, destination signs, hazard obstruction signs. There's 7 or 8 different classifications, and I go over that in all of the videos are in that video that Corey's going to put up for you. So road signs communicate a lot of information, and they communicate many of the road rules that you are going to encounter. It's also, if you start paying attention to the road signs, you're going to be a better driver, because you're going to know what's going to happen and be able to predict traffic patterns because of the road signs that are there. For this one down here, for example, that tells you there's a yield sign ahead. It tells you that traffic is going to slow down very shortly, and that you're going to have to start slowing down, and some of the traffic may or may not stop. So know that some of these traffic signs can help you predict what other vehicles are going to do on the roadway. They give you a lot of information, and as I said, people see road signs, but they don't read the road signs and consciously take that information on board that they need to be taking on board when they're driving. Okay? Another road rule, and this is a very basic road rule that many of us take for granted, is that in the world, we either drive on the right. Most of the world drives on the right. There are a few countries, Australia, the UK, Malaysia, that drive on the left side of the road. If people deviate into your lane, you're going to risk a head-on crash. And this is one of the unpredictable road actions that goes on that causes crashes, that people deviate into your lane. They fall asleep, they cross the median, they hit an animal, they hit something else, and they deviate into your lane, risking a head-on collision. So you need to figure out how to reduce head-on crashes, because people will deviate into your lane. But this is one of those fundamentals. It's such a basic road rule that we just take it for granted. But if other traffic or road users deviate into your lane, something is going to happen. So stay in your lane. Turning in large vehicles, and this applies for the CDL vehicles. When you're turning, you're going to have to go into other lanes of traffic, sometimes oncoming lanes of traffic. You have to give right of way to that. And what I tell CDL drivers of large vehicles, that yes, you can go into the other lanes of traffic so long as the trailer stays, the trailer and the back wheels of the vehicle stay in its lane of traffic, but you need to minimize the amount of time that you're in that other lane of traffic, and you need to ensure safety by minimizing the amount of time that you're encroaching on other lanes of traffic. All right? Right turns. You need to come to a complete stop if you're at a stop sign or a red light. You can turn right on a red light, except of course in New York and the 5 boroughs, you can't turn right on a red light, even if you give way to other traffic. And there are some places that you can't turn right on a red light, especially if this sign is present which says that turning right on a red light is prohibited. If you do turn right on a red light, however, if the sign's not present, you must give right of way to all of the road users, and you must give right of way to all of the turning traffic and pedestrians. That's what I meant to say there. So if you're turning right at an intersection, you have the right of way over left turning traffic. You don't have the right of way over straight through traffic, okay? That's what I meant by that. Sorry if that was a bit unclear. If that's unclear, I'll answer that in comments. Left turns, you have to give way to all of the traffic. You have to give way to oncoming traffic unless there's an advanced green, as you see here. And also it'll be accompanied by this, most intersections will be accompanied by this regulatory sign that says left turn signal, that tells you that these green arrows are specifically for left turning traffic, and which is an advanced green. And you must clear the intersection if caught on a yellow. And I've had a couple of smart drivers in the last week ask me, what happens if I'm waiting at the intersection and the light turns yellow? Well, when the light turns yellow, you start moving into the intersection. So when you get your gap and you've double checked and triple checked that the oncoming traffic is coming to a stop, you've got a bit of momentum, and you make your left-hand turn. That's how the road rules apply for that. Two-way stops. Traffic on minor roads is yielding to traffic on major roads. This is a road rule. Straight through traffic over turning traffic, and right turning traffic over left turning traffic. If you have two vehicles turning left from each stop sign, they can oftentimes go at the same time. And again, it comes back to, you can be right or you can be dead right. If somebody else insists that they have the right of way, that they're going to go first, let them go first. Okay, yield signs. Rules of the road for you have to stop, you have give way to other traffic, but you don't have to come to a complete stop. If the way is clear, you can slow down, give way to other road users, and then proceed if the way is clear. You're not required to completely stop. But again, if you're going to go at these intersections, make sure that you double check, triple check, look before you proceed. Okay, four-way stops. Rules of the road for four-way stops are first vehicle to arrive, vehicle on the right has the right of way. Or there's road users, pedestrians, cyclists, people with scooters, those types of things in the intersection, they have the right of way. Take turns proceeding. So when four-way stops get busy, oftentimes the 2 lanes of traffic, the crossroads, will take turns proceeding. So if they're going straight through and they're not turning, then they're going to take turns and they're going to alternate back and forth, and that moves traffic through the four-way stop more quickly. A lot of these four-way stops, unfortunately, are being replaced by roundabouts because roundabouts have less noise pollution, and as well, they move more traffic per hour than conventional intersections. So we're moving away from four-way stops and we're moving towards roundabouts, which I see as a very good thing here in North America as well. There's less points of conflict in a roundabout, so there tends to be less crashes in roundabouts. Finally, rules of the road, on-ramp, acceleration, continuity lines. These are all features of freeways and getting on an on-ramp. Now, I've had a lot of discussion and I get a lot of people who have a go at me about freeways, and when I say that it's a social activity and people need to work together and the vehicles on the freeway should move over if possible. They should slow down if possible to allow emerging vehicle to get on the freeway. And a lot of people have goes at me and say, oh, that's not the right of way. That's not the road rule. We have the right of way. Well, again, it comes back to the saying, you can be right or you can be dead right. Is it worth your time to risk being involved in a crash, or should you just take your foot off the throttle a little bit and allow the car to merge in front of you and then carry on with your day and without incident? However, rules of the road, the onus of responsibility is on the merging traffic. So know that if you're coming down the on-ramp, you got to mash on that throttle. You need to find your gap and you need to aim for that gap, and you may need to adjust your speed to hit that gap. So the rules of the roadway in terms of merging onto freeways, highways, or other limited access freeways, limited access highways, that's what I was trying to say. The onus of responsibility is on the merging vehicle, the merging driver, but social driving dictates that the people on the freeway should help the people out merging too, and then everybody gets along and social driving becomes a better place to be and hang out and drive your vehicle. All right, so that's an overview of rules of the road, and if you have any questions about that, we can answer that in the comments here during discussion time here, and I'd be more than happy to help you out here. So remember, good luck in your road test if you got one coming up, or if you're working towards your license, and you got any questions, by all means, leave me a comment and I'll be able to help you out. So just transition back over here. Just bear with me for 1 second here. There we go. All right. Excellent. And Corey's got the video up for roundabouts, and Indiana elevators has got to love those roundabouts. Yes. People in the States definitely struggle with those for sure. So there we go. Okay, Rabaz, I've noticed an issue with cars in Hawaii where the engine's cut off at a stop. I've seen this happen to brand new cars. Is this a common issue in other states? Rabaz, actually what I think that is that it's a fuel economy thing, that if the vehicle is idling for a certain amount of time, that it will shut off automatically. I know this is on big diesel motors. I've seen this on trucks, where if they idle for more than 2 minutes, the electronics in the engine will automatically just shut the vehicle off. So if it's sitting at a traffic light or sitting there stopped for a certain amount of time, the engine will shut off automatically. It's part of the electronic programming in the vehicle there. Okay, so Lunette is asking how to fix reverse parking. So one of the things you want to do with reverse parking, Lunette, is you want to have a look at that video that Corey put up on how to learn to drive. Go and get some of those 36-inch, 1-meter tall pylons from a rental shop. Go down to a parking lot, an empty parking lot, the church or the mall or wherever, and practice with those, backing up, 2-point reverse turn, doing figure eights, forward figure eights and reverse figure eights. All that will improve your backing up. And once you get to the point where you can do reverse figure eights, which will really mess with your head, then you're going to do really well. So do that as well. Okay, Greenish, thanks for this. This info I learned more. Excellent. Thank you so much, Greenish. Odie, I can't thank you enough. I passed the DMV only by watching many times your videos. I admire you for having the dedication of producing this video. You deserve an award from the DMV government from Pennsylvania. Thank you so much, Odie, for the endorsement and your kind words. That's really, really nice. Thank you so much. Penny, when left turn on traffic signal, people behind you honk me. How to avoid them? I am wrong to make sure it's safe. Penny, I know it's difficult when people are honking at you and they're putting pressure on you to go when you shouldn't go. Just take a breath, ignore what they're doing, and concentrate on what you're doing. You do not want to get your focus distracted by other people who are pressuring you to go. If you don't feel safe to go, don't go, because it's that moment that when they honk at you and you go, you're going to get into a crash. Those people who are honking at you, they have three choices. They can wait for you, they can crash into you, or they can just simply go home. And there's some expletives that go along with that going home thing. But don't get pressured by other people. They're just in a hurry and they're being aggressive and they're not really caring about what you're doing. So just try and focus on what you're doing and ignore them. Okay? Okay, Sass, you asked me this question before, and I thank you for asking me again. So your fear of highways. So any time that you're having difficulty with a certain aspect of driving, one of the things you need to do is you need to introduce yourself to that aspect of driving slowly. So for example, Sass is having difficulty driving on highways at high speeds. So what I would suggest, Sass, is find a highway or a higher speed roadway that you can go on that has low density traffic. That way you can focus just on the vehicle, you can focus just on the controls, you can focus on getting the feel of the vehicle and how you respond to that as you get higher and higher speeds. As you increase from 40 miles an hour to 50 miles an hour or 60 to 70 kilometers an hour. So as you go faster and faster, then you can just focus on the vehicle. So that's what I suggest you as well. The other thing that I suggest, Sass, is find somebody who can go with you and mentor you, a veteran driver. That way, if you get into trouble or you start having a panic attack, they can intervene and start calming you down and saying, listen, do this or do that. And as well, if you get too much, if you start hyperventilating or just it becomes overwhelming, find a place, a safe place that you can get off the road. You can stop and take a breather, walk around the vehicle a couple times, and remind yourself, I can do this. I am a safe driver. And do it in short stints. So go out for 5 or 10 minutes, and then go back, wait another day, or wait, a few hours, and then go out and do it again. If you can do it in small doses and build up, so you can start at 5 minutes, and then you go 10 minutes, and then you go 15 minutes. Within a couple of weeks, you're up to half an hour. Eventually, you're going to overcome that fear, and you're going to be able to do that. So that's how you overcome the challenge of driving on freeways, or for all of the smart drivers out there, any aspect of driving, that's how you do that. All right, so if you're just tuning in or you're here on the live stream, let us know where you're from in the world, and any questions you got, I'd be happy to help you out. As well, I said there's a lot of people on the live stream here, so if I don't get to your question, just ask me again. I'll be more than happy to get to that for you. And if you're new, consider subscribing. Give a thumbs up to the video here. All of that helps us to help more people with Smart Drive Test. As well, leave a comment. All that helps us out and gets our message out to more people. Okay, Rabaz, we had this issue because the valve was loose and making a noise. Once repaired, the noise was gone and she drives smoothly, but the cars I've seen cut off look and sound new. Oh, okay. So it's not a new car. Okay. Dalton, can I do a video on parallel parking a tractor trailer? Yes, I can. And Dalton, are you in one of those weird states where they do parallel parking on the blind side, or is it just parallel parking on the driver's side? Just let me know that there. Okay. Okay, and Sass, Corey put the video up for you on fear and anxiety there, okay? Sarah, just got my learner's permit, so looking forward to getting some pointers here. Excellent. We can definitely help you out, Sarah, if you have any questions at all. Lizbeth, you're one of my best driving instructors ever. I've watched many of your videos before taking my test last year, and they were super helpful. Still, to this day, I watch your videos just to better myself. Thank you so much, Lizbeth, for that comment and compliment. That is really awesome. I'm really glad that we can help you out, and I'm glad you're still tuning in. That's really great to hear. Okay. There we go. Okay, so Rabaz, you obviously have something else going on with your car there. This is not something with a new car. Okay, White, thank you. I passed my driving exam yesterday. My parallel parking was perfect. Thanks to you. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much, White Peony. And if you could head over to the Smart Drive Test website and register with the 100,000K campaign, that would be simply awesome. And as well, you'll be entered in for the $100 gas card. So that would be really great to get going on your new license there. Awesome. Okay, let's see. Jaden, when I was driving my car through the woods, my dad got attacked by a frog. Okay, that's funny. Even my daughter's laughing that your dad got attacked by a frog. Well, it was a good thing it was the frog and not the snake. But was the rattlesnake? That's a funny story. It's funny, and I'm sure it wasn't funny at the time. It's funny now, though. Okay. Okay. Slammed on the brakes because 4-foot rattle in the middle of the abandoned road. There you go. Okay, that's a great story, Jaden. Okay, how do you handle driving during Ironman season? Had to deal with cyclists hogging the road and holding up traffic, along with bikers cutting off people off the start of the green lights. Rabaz, the Ironman triathlon, for those of you who don't know, Rabaz is in Hawaii, and it's the Ironman triathlon is held there every year. And it's the pinnacle Ironman triathlon, and there's a lot of bicycles out on the roadway and whatnot. Rabaz, probably the best thing to do is just avoid that day. If you cannot drive during the triathlon, especially during the bike portion of it, then that would be my recommendation. Prince K, I'm getting ready to take my driving test. I need help. Okay, Prince K, which aspect of driving do you need help with? And we can help you with that for sure. Clockwork Zero says, take extra lessons. And yes, Prince K, the other thing I will suggest to you is I have a course over at the Smart Drive Test website, and guaranteed to pass your road test first time. It goes completely over the entire preparation for both the learners and practicing and leading up to your road test. It's a 6-week. I suggest that you take 6 weeks to prepare for your road test, and it goes over every aspect that you need for that road test. And as well, if you go over there right now and you type in the coupon YouTube30, you can get 30% off the course, and you pick it up for about $28. Okay, so that's the other thing you can do. All right, so White Peony, there's the link for the 100K campaign. If you could go over and register for that, that would be great. There you go. And Clockwork Zero, who was very successful on the road test there, took the course and had some good stuff for it as well. Dalton, you didn't answer my question yet. I need you to, is it a parallel park on the blind side or the driver's side of the vehicle for your tractor trailer's license there? And where are you working at? Oh, you're not exactly sure. Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that comment there. Dalton, where are you getting your tractor trailer license? Just leave that comment there and I'll be able to help you out a little bit more there. Prince K, thanks. You're most welcome. Anything we can do to help you out. And the other thing, Prince K, the course is completely guaranteed, 100% guaranteed. If you don't pass your road test first time, I'll refund your money. And not only will I refund your money, I will do everything I can in my power to help you pass your road test and be successful. I had a student last year with air brakes who was not successful. I refunded the money, and then I helped her again. We did a Skype call, and I reviewed all the questions with her, and she was successful on the next attempt. So we did get her air brake test as well. And again, just a reminder that on Tuesday, 10:30 PST, Pacific Standard Time, there's a webinar for those of you going for a CDL on air brakes, and we'll help you to go over air brakes, understand what air brakes are, how to do downhill braking, and the specific questions that you'll be asked on a CDL test. So head over to the Smart Drive Test website and sign up for the air brake webinar if you're doing a CDL license. Okay, car is a 2001 Mercury Grand Marquis, and we repaired our cutoff issue, but for new cars, I've seen that came out within your cutoff as soon as they stop moving. I've seen this happen a lot. Yeah, so that's something that's featured in new cars, Rabaz, is the shut-off feature. And as well, I know in some European countries that if you are the fourth vehicle in a line at a traffic light, you are required by law to shut your vehicle off, and it's just to reduce pollution and those types of things. So I do know that there are places in the world where they ask you to do that. Viewer, excellent. Congratulations on passing your test. That's awesome. And as well, if we could ask you to go over to the Smart Drive Test website and register for the 100K campaign, you'll also be entered in the draw this month for the $100 fuel card. So go over and sign up for that as well. Okay, Jasmine, did you miss anything? Just now tuning in. No, I don't think you really missed anything, Jasmine. And the other thing is you can watch it on the replay. And for those of you who are watching on the replay, thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to Smart Drive Test, please consider subscribing. I would really like to hit the 100,000 mark by the end of the year. So as well, For those of you who are watching, if you can share the videos around, share around Smart Drive Test and ask people to subscribe to the channel, that would be really great. And yes, I'm doing a little bit of pandering and a little bit of selling, but if you don't ask, people don't know. So we're at 80, we're just about 80,000. We need about 22,000 people to sign up in the next couple of months. So what are we now? We're October, 10 weeks. So we got 10 weeks to hit 100,000. It would be really nice to get that plaque before the end of the year. So share with your friends. Dalton, I'm going to Newcastle School of Trades in Castle, Pennsylvania. Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Excellent. I'm definitely going to look that up, Dalton. So I'll go back over this and have a look at that. Rabaz, we're gonna have to find out which vehicles that are cutting off as soon as they stop, because obviously there's something in that's not right with the vehicle. I mean, unless it's an electric car, petrol engine shouldn't do that. Okay, there's something going on. Jocelyn, a couple of times I drive through yellow lights because they catch me off guard. Almost had a collision with someone who made a quick left turn. How can I avoid this? Jocelyn, one of the things you want to do when you're coming through on a yellow light, because I know that it's inevitable, all of us are going to end up going through a yellow light, and I know what you're saying about the fact that they just catch you out, and all of a sudden it's like you look up and the light goes yellow and you're like right on the line. You're right, just like going into the intersection. So one of the things you can do is watch the oncoming traffic that's preparing to turn left, get your foot over the brake, cover the brake as you're going through, and that way you're going to be prepared in case they do pull out in front of you, that you can come to a stop. But you know, it's going to happen, but you need to cover that brake and you need to be prepared that vehicles in front of you could potentially turn in front of you, okay? Jaden, where'd you go? Where'd your question go? I also forgot my car back. I noticed the fuel gauge was halfway empty. Somebody has been using my car. Where was your car? Jaden, okay, so you're in the woods with the frog and the rattlesnake, and then you got your car back. Okay, where was your car that somebody took your fuel, Jaden? Okay, Jamie, taking my road test in the morning. Any advice? Yes. Okay, Jamie, all road tests have 4 fundamental components. Okay, speed management, space management, observation, and communication. Speed management, you need to do the posted speed limit as quickly as possible. Do not exceed the posted speed limit. You will fail. If you're over the speed limit or under the speed limit any significant amount, more than 5 miles an hour, you're not going to be successful on your road test. Speed limit or flow of traffic, whichever is less. Space management, don't get near anything, don't get near other road users, that way you're going to stay safe. Okay, when you stop in traffic, make sure that you stop behind other vehicles so you can see the tires making clear contact with the pavement. When you stop at stop signs, stop at the stop line, stop before the crosswalk line or the sidewalk, and stop. If neither of those exist, stop where the 2 roads meet. And oftentimes you can see the kind of faded line there in the pavement where the 2 roads meet. One more. 2 to 3 second following distance behind other traffic as you're driving, okay? Watch for transit buses, because oftentimes transit buses will stop on the other side of the intersection, and if you don't want to block an intersection. If you block an intersection in a road test, that's an automatic fail. So make sure that you can clear the intersection before you move through it. Observation, you need to observe correctly. You need to have a scanning pattern in place when you're driving straight down the roadway. You need to look far down the roadway. You need to come in, look at your instrument panel, look far down the roadway, both sides. Check your mirrors, check your center mirror. Down the roadway, check your wing mirrors, far down the road. So you have to have that scanning pattern in place as you're driving forward. Every time you turn or you change lanes, you need to do shoulder checks. You need to do 2 shoulder checks. 1 before you move, mirror signal shoulder check. 3 flashes on the signal minimum before you change lanes, and then immediately before you change lanes, shoulder check again. So 2 shoulder checks for every time you change lanes, 2 shoulder checks for every time you turn left and turn right. When you're reversing, 360-degree scan around the vehicle, look out the back window, and you can check your mirrors intermittently as well when you're observing for the purposes of doing parking, reverse maneuvers, and those types of things. And then finally, communication. You have to communicate effectively with other traffic. The ways that you communicate with other traffic: signals, lights, horns, hand gestures. Make sure that you use all 5 fingers. Don't tell other drivers that they're number 1 on a road test. and eye contact. And then finally, the most important way that you communicate your intentions with other traffic is the position of your vehicle on the roadway. So that's what you need to do, and all you need to do for the purposes of your road test to be successful is take away the examiner's right to fail you. You have to drive well, and that'll make sure that you guarantee that you pass your road test. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Okay, here we go. Catching up. So Jaden, we're with the car. Dira, I'm a new driver and I'm terrified of driving this winter. I'm in Calgary. Any tips? By the way, I watched your videos religiously before I took my road test. Thank you so much, Dira. I'm so glad that you passed. And Dira, I'm working furiously right now on a winter driving course. Send me an email, rick@smartdrivetest. I'll have your email address, and as soon as I get that course up, which I'm hoping is by the end of the week, I will send you an email and you can take that course. Okay? Alternatively, there's the defensive driving course over at the website, which will also help you out. The defensive driving course does have some aspects of winter driving, but the winter driving is going to be specifically for people such as yourself. This is going to be your first winter. It'll give you all the tools, tips, and techniques that you need to be successful for the winter. So send me an email and look for that. Jasmine, it's helpful to watch you because my mom wants to learn about cars before I take my road test. Okay, excellent. So we're glad you're watching, Jasmine. Anything we can help you with, that'd be great. So Jaden, excuse me. So your car's parked at home and somebody's using your car. Now, how old is your car, Jaden? Is there a possibility that somebody's siphoning your fuel on your vehicle? I don't know. Okay, let me know. Patrick, hey Rick, thanks to your videos, was able to pass my G2 in Ontario on the first try. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Patrick, for letting us know. As well, if you don't mind, we could ask you to register over at the Smart Drive Test for the 100K campaign. As well, you'll go in the draw for the $100 fuel card this month. So please sign up for that as well. And tell your friends about the 100K campaign. Anybody who's passed a road test signs up will go in for the draw for the $100 fuel card for that as well. Okay, 380 shutting off. It's a new start-stop feature, split-second vehicle stops. Engine shuts off. If brake is released, AC is on high, or battery gets low, engine turns on immediately. There are the ways of disabling it, but not easy. My car was bought too old to have it. Okay, so yes, it is a feature. I was pretty sure that it was, and probably what I need to do is, now that I'm getting back into YouTube again and I'm making videos again, I need to go and make a video on that, because that's important for new drivers and veteran drivers alike who are dealing with automotive technology. That can definitely help you out. Corey, depends on the effort given. I'd imagine if you didn't look at all, I can imagine that being an automatic fail. Otherwise, minor error. Vinny, did I not answer your question here? Vinny. Oh, okay. So Vinny's having difficulty with his audio. Okay, Vinny, will a driver examiner fail if you do not do one of mirror signal shoulder check? Vinny, they won't fail you. It depends on how many times you do it, but it's kind of one fluid motion when you mirror signal shoulder check. So it's kind of like when you're doing that, it's flip the signal on, you're checking the mirror, and then you're shoulder checking. So it's kind of one fluid motion as you're doing it. And also, if you miss it on the way out, like there's kind of you don't have a pause on the wing mirror, you can turn your head and then you can come back quickly. But you want to make that kind of a fluid motion, because you don't want to be looking away from the road in front of you for very long, because remember, the vehicle is going to go where you're looking. So if your vision is turned somewhere else, the car is going to start to deviate. So you don't want to be looking away for too long. Jericho Arroyo, my friend Sam with Rookie Auto Driving School in the Bronx in New York there, is here. And now that Sam is here, I'll just let you know. The other thing that I counsel new drivers who are preparing for a road test, make sure 3 to 4 weeks away from your road test that you call a local driving school and book a practice driving test 3 or 4 days before your actual road test. Sam does them there in the Bronx. They're only about $20. $25. It's, in my mind, it is the best money that you can spend, because you go out with a driving instructor and a driving instructor will assess your driving. So if you're not taking driving lessons with a driving school, make sure that you book a practice driving test. That way you're guaranteed that you're going to pass your road test. So if you're in New York City there, look up Sam at Rookie Auto Driving School there, and he'll be able to help you out and book a practice driving test and some lessons with him, okay? All right. Yeah, exactly what Corey said about not looking. You're going to fail. 380, I don't like it. Extra wear and tear on the starter and battery, but it gets the advertised fuel economy up. Get a pre-2016 vehicle. Mine's a 2013. Interceptor. Jocelyn, I would like the winter defensive driving as well. This is my first winter driving as well. Okay, Jocelyn, so send me an email. And like I said, I'm going to have it up by the end of the week. Once I get it up for you, I'll send you the link for it, and we can get you signed up for that because it's going to be really helpful. A lot of great information in it. Car care, how to drive on black ice, which I don't subscribe to, but how to drive on ice, how to drive in the winter, get your vehicle prepared, what you need to have in your vehicle, and how to drive on roads with snow and ice on it and keep yourself safe, crash-free this weekend. Okay, yes, $20. You're most welcome, Sam. Anything we can do to help you out there. As well, Sam has a driving a YouTube channel as well, Driving Lessons with Big Mac Sam. So head over there and check that out with Sam as well. Okay, Rabaz, Interceptor, I mainly love the Crown Vic. That's what my Mercury Grand Marquis is based on. Yes, okay. There we go. So Sam's here. Rabaz, also when I was pulled over last night for having fog lights on, I corrected my mistake a full minute before they pulled me over. Got no ticket, but should I have been pulled over still? My dad was upset. Yes, people do not like getting pulled over, but you have to realize that sometimes police are just trying to keep the roads safe and they're not actually looking to give you a ticket or fulfill their monthly quota. It's going to happen, and oftentimes, I would say 85% of the time that I've been pulled over by police, and let me tell you, I got pulled over probably once every 6 months when I was driving truck. Probably 85% of the time, 90% of the time, I never got a ticket. So if you're pleasant to them, you're polite, you're respectful, you're not going to get a ticket. You're just going to get a warning. A lot of people who get speeding tickets and whatnot either were unfortunate that they actually got pulled over in a speed trap, or they were belligerent to the police. And if you were belligerent to the police officer, I can almost guarantee you that you're going to get a ticket. So just know that for the purposes of getting pulled over and driving safely on roadways. Okay, Jaden, also I found the auxiliary port in my car. It was underneath my radio. Oh, excellent. Well, that always helps out when you have that in your vehicle. Yes, the auxiliary port, I have a USB port on my cigarette lighter for my dash cam, which works well. I can plug my phone into it, which works really well. Okay, Jasmine, what about California DMV driving school? I'm sorry, Jasmine, what are you asking me about that driving school? Usually it's the private driving schools that are going to offer practice driving test sessions for you that will give you an evaluation of whether you're ready for your road test or not. So that's who I would suggest that you go and do that with. Okay, Odie, I downloaded all your lengthy discussions in audio format, have it as a background in my car every day. You can be right or you can be dead right. Pick the right best answer, not the right ones. Yes, there you go, Odie. I'm in your head. So, yes, I'm glad I'm not just the only one that's saying all of that stuff. So, yes, there we go. That's excellent. I'm glad we're helping you out. Robaz, we are also 3 black males in a nice car, so my dad was really on them if it was for a race issue. Oh no, that's terrible. That's terrible. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm not gonna touch that. Okay, so there you go. Corey put the video up for what you do when you get pulled over by police, and Sam, blinker fluid. Well, you know, Sam, I don't use blinker fluid because I try not to use the signals on my car because it increases the value when I go to sell it because the signals haven't been used. They're brand new that way, right? Blinker fluid. Oh my God, that's funny. Yes, that's a prank that they pull on new drivers who are not familiar with cars. Ask them if they need blinker fluid. There's really no such thing. It's kind of like bear grease or elbow grease or those types of things, or a sky hook. There's the other one. Yes, that they ask people for. Canada, I hear that most people that making test in snow time. What do you think? Okay, excuse me. I recommend people taking a road test in the wintertime, and Corey will dig out the video for you on the mock road test for wintertime. I recommend that you take a road test in the wintertime, and the reason that I recommend you taking a road test in the wintertime is because it's easier to take a road test in the wintertime than it is in the summertime. You don't have to be exact on the road test. For example, parallel parking. You'll see it in the video. When you parallel park in the wintertime, you only have to get behind the vehicle that you're parking behind. You don't have to get 6 to 12 inches away from the curb, because the driving examiner does not want to push the vehicle if you get it stuck because you backed into the snowbank. So they want you to stay away from the snowbank. They don't like pushing vehicles. And unfortunately, if you get stuck, it's not likely that you're going to be successful on your road test. And as well, you don't have to stop behind the stop lines and those types of things. You simply have to stop behind the sidewalk because you can't see the lines on the roadway because they're covered with snow. So I recommend that you take your road test in the wintertime. It's less exact in the wintertime than it is in the summertime. So I encourage people to do that. I know there's a lot of trepidation. A lot of people will avoid taking the road test in the wintertime. Most people do it in the summertime, and I understand why. But I still advocate that you take your road test in the wintertime, okay? Amazing videos. Hello there. How are you? What can we help you with? Okay, Dalton? Don't forget your muffler bearings. Yes, don't leave home without your muffler bearings. That's a good one. Okay, Rabaz, he knows most of the officers at the police department and owns a Hawaiian newspaper, so he has had a defense if they escalated. Yes, there you go. Okay, Rabaz, awesome. I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay, 380 at fire department. New guys are always asked to find water hammers on the truck. Look it up. Oh, that's funny. Water hammers. Oh my God, Colton. I've been watching your videos for a few months now, and they've really helped me. Thank you. You are most welcome, Colton. If there's anything else we can do, more than happy to help you out. Okay, Corey, don't some BMWs actually use blinker fluid? No, Corey, I don't think that even BMWs have blinker fluid. However, I was watching a video on a high-end vehicles, Mercedes, BMWs, those types of things, and some of these vehicles actually had oil gauges for the oil in the system. So like a fuel gauge, like a gas gauge for the oil in the engine, which most vehicles don't. Most of them have a dipstick. So there you go. Yes, Sam, you did start something. Okay, Sebastian. This week I hit a curb at 35 miles an hour, and thank God I had spare tires to replace my wrecked tires. Ooh. Want to charge me $110 for spare tires. Where can I get them cheaper for a 1996 Maxima? One of the place, Sebastian's, that you can look, you can go to the tire shop. Sometimes some of the tire shops will have secondhand tires that people have traded in for whatnot, but they still got a lot of good tread on them. Auto Wreckers is another place that you can get tires. And the other place, Sebastian, that you can look online at the local trade shops, Facebook groups, and those types of things. A lot of these secondhand vehicles a lot of these groups that sell will have secondhand tires that won't cost you as much as buying new ones. So that's what you can do. Yes, Sam, you started it. There we go. Yes, in joke. There we go. Jasmine, who should I go with again so I can write it down? Yes, and Vinny said Costco, Walmart, they're another good place to look for tires as well that are less expensive. So you can get tires there as well. Okay, Jasmine, who should I go again so I can write it down? Okay, so Jasmine, you want to look for a local driving school. Now, what I recommend, Jasmine, and this goes for anybody who's tuning in, looking for a driving school. Search online, go on Google. Google will have ratings for these driving schools. And I would recommend that you pick a driving school that has a 4-star or above rating. They're rated at a 5, and look for a driving school that's 4 or 5-star rated. That way you're going to know that you're going to get fairly good service from the driving school that you're going to be working with. Ask them how much it's going to cost, if you're one-on-one with the same driving instructor all the time, if you're going to take multiple numbers of lessons, I would, encourage you to try and work with the same driving instructor. It's less confusing that way because you're not being told different things by different driving instructors. I know that, there's one way to pass a road test, but unfortunately different driving instructors are going to give you different information. So try and work with the same driving instructor. So that's how you go about finding a driving school and finding a driving instructor. All right, so again, if you're on the replay or you're sitting there and you're watching the video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed to Smart Drive Test, please subscribe to Smart Drive Test. If you're watching on the replay, thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment as well. We'll be all more than happy to do anything that we can do to help you be successful on a road test and remain crash free. Okay, Dano, what will 100 hours of CMV training cost? Dano, where are you in the world, Dano, for CMV training? Commercial vehicle, motor vehicle training for 100 hours. It depends on how much practical time you're going to get, so how much time you're going to get in the vehicle and how much classroom time you're going to get. That's going to depend on the cost. If you're looking for just in vehicles for 100 hours of seat time in a vehicle, you're probably looking at the $7,000 to $10,000 amount, but that's just an estimate on my part. I don't know for sure, because most tractor trailer training is going to run you out from somewhere between $100 and $130 an hour is what that's going to run you out at. So, and depending on how much classroom time there is what that's going to run you out. But there are less expensive ways to do that, okay? So know that. Yeah, okay, Dano. In Alberta, what I would suggest is that you start calling around to driving schools and see what different driving schools are going to, what information they're going to give you, and see what you have to say. Now, are you funding this privately, or do you have funding in place that you can get that is going to help you move through truck driving school there, Dano? Okay. All right. Abin, I'm a learner and hoping to pass my N in our video. Your videos are helping me a lot since my instructor is my husband, who's a bit impatient and making me stressed more. Oh, that's unfortunate. Sorry to hear that you're being stressed out. You're in Qualicum Beach on Vancouver Island. Yes, lovely place. The other thing I would suggest to you that I've suggested to other smart drivers is I do have the course over at the Smart Drive Test. Pass your road test first time. It's guaranteed. Pass your road test first time. And if you type the coupon in YouTube30, you'll get 30% off. So you can pick that course up for about $28. It's completely guaranteed that you'll pass first time. And if you don't pass, I'll refund your money, and I'll do everything in my power to help you to make sure that you are successful passing your road test. So you might want to consider that too. And there's a video that Corey will put up for you, helping a new driver learn to drive. That's not the exact title, but Corey will dig it out for you. Maybe you can get your husband to watch that video, and that'll maybe help him so you're not so stressed out. Okay, Jaden, your videos helped me a lot when I got my driver's license. Excellent. Thank you so much, Jaden. How can you tell when your tires are low on air, and how can you avoid getting ripped off for tire replacement? For 3 tires when we went for 1, and all 3 of them are low on air. Rabaz, go to the local auto parts store and pick up a tire gauge. That's the best way to check your tires. A lot of the newer vehicles are going to have tire pressure monitor systems on them, but the best way to do it is just to get a gauge and put a gauge on. And as well, the tire pressure will be on the door sill in the owner's manual, or contact a local mechanic and they'll be able to tell you what tire pressure should be in your tires. Okay, Dano, trying to hire class 1s. Okay, so Dano, you're trying to hire class 1s and you're going to put them through driving school, or you're going to hire class 1s, you're going to train them and then put them to work. Is that what you're going to be doing? Okay, Asfa, thank you so much. Jocelyn, my email is rick@smartdrivetest.com, and Corey will put that up for you. Casey, I'm getting my license next week. Any first car essentials? Casey, make sure that you look at the video playlist on final road test preparation. Corey will put that up for you. Make sure you do a pre-trip inspection on your vehicle. You don't want to be denied a road test. And unfortunately, a week ago, I had a smart driver that was denied a road test because they had a brake light out. So make sure you do a pre-trip inspection, and Corey will put that up for you as well. Jasmine, it says that driving school costs between $150 $50 and $100. That's about right, Jasmine. That's about what it's going to cost you. So you need to kind of weigh that out and figure out how many sessions you want to take. The other thing you can do, Jasmine, is you can work through the videos here. You can work through my course, which will make sure that you pass. And then what I counsel you to do is just book a practice driving session with the driving school, and they can assess your driving before you actually go for your road test, and you'll know whether you can postpone your road test and do a bit more work or not. All right, so we're getting near the end here. I'll just answer a couple more questions. I will hang around on the comments a little bit after. If you have a question that I haven't answered, I'll answer that for you. But we're getting near the end here, and I'm just going to wrap up. Colton, if I'm passing another vehicle in the left lane, should I exceed the speed limit if there are other vehicles approaching? No, Colton, especially on a road test, do not exceed the speed limit, okay? Make sure you stay the speed limit and just go past the vehicle, okay? Even if other people are pressuring you, don't do that. Vinny, I heard driving examiners are not allowed to touch anything in your car. Vinny, they're not, but they are going to do a mini pre-trip inspection on your vehicle before they take you out for a road test, so know that. And if something doesn't work, if there's a brake light out or the seatbelt doesn't work on the passenger side, they're not going to take you on a road test. They're going to deny you a road test. Prince K, most driving schools will use Toyotas or Honda Civics. They'll use a mid-sized vehicle, so that's what they're going to do. Ethiopian lady, Canada, thank you so much. I appreciate you showing up. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Okay, Jaden, this is a problem. I can't get my driver's license until I get my drug and alcohol test online course done. Okay, and Jaden, are you going for a CDL license? Is that why you got to do drug and alcohol, or is there some other reason? Probably the best thing to do, Jaden, send me an email, rick@smartdrivetest.com, and I'll help you out with that. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for showing up. If you passed a road test the last week, congratulations on passing your road test. Be sure to go over and register with the 100K campaign. If you're getting a new license, consider the Pass Your Road Test First Time Guaranteed over at the Smart Drive Test website. And if you passed your road test, congratulations on that. And remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great night. Bye now.